Hello, I'm Alan. This morning, sitting on the porch with a hot cup of coffee in hand, watching the maple leaves changing color and gently falling onto the yard, I suddenly remembered Mary, my lovely 58-year-old neighbor. Mary is a wonderful grandmother, always full of energy when playing with her grandchildren in the backyard every weekend. But there's a secret sadness that she only dared to confide when we happened to meet while queuing to pay at Costco. The feeling of helplessness every morning when brushing her hair. She told me, Alan, looking at the strands of hair left on the comb, I feel like I'm aging too fast, faster than what I feel inside my soul. Perhaps you've had that moment too, standing frozen under the bright bathroom light and wondering, why is the part in my hair getting so wide like this? What did I do wrong? But trust me, that's not your fault. You're not alone on this journey. It's a biological story that the body is trying to tell you. And more importantly, we can completely rewrite a brighter ending. In today's conversation, I'll reveal to you a faceless thief that's silently working even while you sleep, and simple but powerful ways to protect your precious hair. Pour yourself a cup of tea, sit down here with me, because what I'm about to share could completely change the way you see your own beauty. Are you ready? Imagine your body is like a beautiful house we're living in. When the fire alarm is blaring, do you still have the mind to water the flower pots on the balcony or redecorate the living room? Of course not. You'd pour all your energy into putting out the fire and protecting the house. Our bodies work exactly the same way. When it senses danger, nourishing the hair, those decorative flowers of ours, will be the first thing to be cut back to save energy for more important organs. I remember Susan, a retired teacher friend living in Florida. Susan is the definition of dedication and sacrifice. She's always bustling back and forth, worrying about her elderly mother in the nursing home while also taking care of her daughter, who just got divorced and moved back home. Once, while sitting drinking iced tea on the lanai, Susan confided in me about last year's Thanksgiving. She had woken up at 4 a.m. to roast the turkey, make cranberry sauce, and prepare a complete dinner for 20 people, with her mind constantly tense like a stretched string because she wanted everything to be perfect. Susan always felt her heart racing and had trouble sleeping, but she had no idea that this excessive dedication was activating an energy thief named cortisol. When you worry for a long time, the body produces cortisol to help you cope with stress, like stepping on the gas pedal to make the car run faster to escape danger. But to have energy for this battle, cortisol will pull energy from places it considers non-essential to sustain immediate life. Unfortunately, our hair follicles end up on that list of luxury items. Cortisol pushes the hair follicles into the resting phase, telogen, earlier than normal, causing them to stop growing and fall out after a few months. That's not your fault. It's the body's way of trying to protect you in a somewhat extreme manner. Have you ever looked in the mirror in the morning and felt your face looking rounder, slightly puffy, even though your weight hasn't increased? That could be a sign of cortisol face, a gentle reminder from the body that you need to slow down. If Susan's story sounds familiar, please hit the subscribe button right below, because together we'll find balance again and learn to love ourselves more on this journey. But hold on, stress isn't the only reason you feel tired and your hair is thinning. There's a tiny thermostat right in your neck that might be broken without you knowing, making you always feel cold while others feel normal. We'll check it out together right after this. Have you ever sat in a warm living room, everyone around you feeling comfortable, even your husband is wearing a t-shirt watching the weekend football game, but you secretly turn up the heater because you feel chills creeping in from inside? That's not just sensitivity to the weather. It could be an urgent whisper from your body that we accidentally overlook. This story reminds me of Margaret, a friend living in rainy Seattle. Margaret used to love long walks, but lately, even one shopping trip at Costco leaves her so exhausted she wants to sit and rest on the display chairs along the aisle instead of continuing to the grocery section. She confided in me that even though she eats very little, her weight keeps increasing, her skin has become dry and rough, and the most heartbreaking thing is that every morning when she brushes her hair, it keeps thinning. We often blame age, but in reality, the body's thermostat, or the thyroid gland, might be falling asleep. When the thyroid slows down, hypothyroidism, your entire energy system slows down too, and hair follicles are the first to have their energy budget cut to prioritize other important organs. There's a tiny detail that Margaret overlooked when doing her makeup every morning, and I want you to look in the mirror right now. Is the outer third of your eyebrows fading? Losing 1/3 of the outer part of the eyebrows is a classic sign that the thyroid needs your attention and love. But the good news is, just like the heater in the house can be repaired, the thyroid can also be fully supported and awakened if we listen to it in time. and for this energy machine to start working again, it needs specific building materials. If the thyroid is the engine, then what we put into our lunch is the fuel to run it. However, I see so many of us women, in our efforts to stay in shape, accidentally starving our hair with plates of salad that look so healthy but are missing the most important bricks to rebuild thick, strong hair. If the thyroid issue we just talked about is like your house losing power and the heating system not working, then the next story is about the very bricks that build that house. I often notice a very familiar sight whenever I have lunch with friends my age. Wonderful women ordering a huge plate of green salad, maybe adding a few thin apple slices and a bit of vinegar, then nodding in satisfaction that they're eating very healthy to stay in shape. Patricia, a friend of mine living in California, is exactly like that. At 55, Patricia is terrified of gaining weight. Her breakfast is usually just a hastily toasted slice of bread with coffee, and lunch is meatless salad. She lost weight, yes, but she also noticed her hair becoming finer, duller, and more brittle, as if it had lost its vitality. You know, our hair is mainly made of a protein called keratin. Imagine the hair follicle like a busy construction site. If you don't provide enough bricks, which are high-quality protein, then the body, with its survival intelligence, will prioritize those scarce bricks for vital organs like the heart, liver, and lungs, and cut supply to the hair. To the body, beautiful hair is a luxury, not an essential need for survival. There's a truth few people notice. When we pass the age of 50, the body no longer absorbs and synthesizes protein as efficiently as in our 20s. That means that little salad plate might be good for the waistline, but it's leaving your hair follicles starving. I advise Patricia to make a small change. Add a portion of chicken breast or salmon to the salad and swap the morning toast for Greek yogurt or eggs. Just after a few months, the difference was truly miraculous. However, even when Patricia was eating enough protein, the story didn't end there. Suppose you now have enough bricks to build the house, but what if there are no trucks to transport the bricks to the site? There's a silent factor in the blood that acts like that fleet of transport trucks, and many of us women are severely lacking it. So even if we eat nutritious food, the hair still can't receive the nutrients. Can you guess what it is? Let's explore the secret of this transport fleet right after this. Last Sunday afternoon, while I was busy rearranging the plant pots on the patio to catch the sun, I suddenly remembered Brenda, the friend in Texas I mentioned earlier. Have you ever been in a situation where you just carried a light basket of laundry upstairs and your heart was pounding, forcing you to stop and catch your breath? We often reassure ourselves, oh, it must be because I'm older now, or I need more cardio. But my dear friend, sometimes that shortness of breath isn't due to age, but because your blood is missing the most important trucks. Imagine it this way. If protein is the bricks to build the hair strands, then iron is the trucks carrying oxygen to the construction site. Your hair follicles are the hardest working workers in the body. They divide continuously and are extremely oxygen hungry. When you lack iron, your intelligent body will prioritize oxygen for the heart and lungs to sustain life. And sadly, your beautiful hair is the first to have its supply cut. The result is hair that becomes weak, thin, and quietly falls out. There are very subtle signs you can check right now. Look at your fingernails. Are they brittle or slightly spoon-shaped? Koilonychia. Or here's a question that might sound strange. Lately, have you found yourself craving to chew ice in your drink? Craving non-food items like ice, pagophagia, is a silent but clear cry for help from the body when iron stores are depleted. Many of my friends after menopause cut back on red meat for heart health or have the habit of drinking tea and coffee right after meals. Did you know that the tannins in tea can block the body from absorbing iron from the delicious meal you just cooked? Those are small details with big impacts. However, don't worry yet. Recognizing this missing oxygen truck is the first step to bringing vitality back to your hair. But hold on. Before you rush to the supermarket and buy a ton of spinach to supplement iron, I need you to pause for a moment. There's a nutritional trap right in the healthiest looking foods you might be eating every day, accidentally making your hair condition worse. I'll reveal this surprising secret in the next part. If this helped, comment, "I'm ready for healthier hair," or if you want to keep watching, hit like for motivation. Thinking about Brenda's story and those missing oxygen trucks, I'm reminded of another friend of mine in New York, Nancy. She's 56 and full of energy, but that very enthusiasm accidentally led her into a trap I call the superfood trap. In the early days of the new year, when the green smoothie challenge trend flooded social media, Nancy decided to completely change her diet. Every morning, she loaded her Vitamix blender with handfuls of raw spinach, chard, and almonds. She believed she was feeding her body a pure source of energy to revive her hair. But ironically, a few months later, Nancy noticed her hair not only didn't thicken, but fell out even more, accompanied by strange joint pains she had never experienced before. My dear friend, there's a truth few people notice. In those very healthy dark green vegetables, especially when eaten raw in large amounts, there's a natural compound called oxalate. Imagine oxalate like tiny magnets in your gut. When they meet iron or calcium from food, they latch on tightly and lock these minerals away, preventing your body from absorbing them. Have you ever finished a raw spinach smoothie and felt a rough, unpleasant film coating your teeth? That's a sign of oxalate crystals. Nancy accidentally let these thieves steal the precious iron right at the gateway to the blood, leaving her hair follicles starving despite her very healthy eating. But don't worry too much. The solution is much simpler than you think. You don't need to give up your favorite greens, just change the way you prepare them a little. So, cooking the vegetables can significantly reduce this anti-nutrient. And if you're wondering if there's any vegetable that's both rich in hair nutrients and safer, the answer is right in the backyard garden or a humble corner of the supermarket shelf that we often walk past. Come with me, because I'm about to introduce you to a true silent hero that your hair is craving. Let's step out into the backyard garden for a bit. You know, right after we talked about how those giant raw spinach smoothies might be doing more harm than good, I remembered the story of Elena, a wonderful 59-year-old friend living in sunny, windy Arizona. One weekend afternoon, as we sat drinking iced tea on the porch watching the desert sunset, Elena confided in me. She said she used to force herself to drink expensive kale juices from Whole Foods every day because she thought it was the gold standard for health. But strangely, her hair remained weak and kept falling out. It wasn't until she recalled the flavors from her grandmother's kitchen, her beloved abuela of Latin descent, that she found the answer. It wasn't those harsh detox trends, but two silent heroes we often accidentally overlook right on the kitchen shelf: amaranth seeds and parsley. Have you ever walked past the ancient grains section in the supermarket and seen those small bags of amaranth? To the ancient Aztecs, it was a source of energy as precious as gold. Elena started making warm amaranth porridge for breakfast instead of hastily toasted bread before work. This grain is packed with lysine and high-quality protein, the solid bricks your hair is craving to rebuild its structure. And what about parsley? Don't just use it as a decorative sprig on the Thanksgiving turkey plate and then wastefully discard it. Elena started sprinkling a big handful of fresh parsley on soup or fried eggs every morning. The abundant vitamin C in it is the golden key that helps her body absorb iron much better, turning ordinary meals into miraculous doses nourishing every hair follicle. The result was truly heartwarming. After a few months of returning to these simple, love-filled traditional dishes, Elena found her hair shinier and more vibrant, no longer feeling dry and straw-like. But my dear friend, the wonderful nutrition from amaranth and parsley is only the solid foundation underground. For the tree of hair to truly grow tall and shine, we're still missing one extremely important factor. It's a free, radiant source of energy right above our heads, but ironically, it's something many of us women try to avoid every time we step outside. Can you guess who this misunderstood friend is? We just talked about nutritional treasures from the earth, but you know, trees can't grow lush without sunlight. Your hair is the same. It's craving a special kind of light that modern life has accidentally blocked. This reminds me of Karen, an old friend living in Portland, Oregon, where the endless gray, drizzly days seem to go on forever. Karen is 54, works in a tall office building, and she's extremely meticulous about skincare. She applies SPF 50 sunscreen every morning, even just driving to work, because she fears age wrinkles. Lately, Karen panicked when she saw her hair falling out in small patches, alopecia areata, and her overall hair becoming thin and lifeless. When she got tested, she was shocked to learn her blood vitamin D levels were at red alert. You see, we often think vitamin D is only for bones, but in reality, it's the key to awakening hair follicles. Studies show vitamin D plays an important role in stimulating hair follicles to enter the anagen phase, the strong growth phase. When deficient in this sun vitamin, the follicles sleep too long and old strands fall out without new ones replacing them. Have you ever wondered if your body's fatigue and hair's thinning is a cry for help due to lack of sun? The solution is sometimes simpler than you think. You don't need to bake on a Florida beach for hours. Just about 15 minutes of walking outside in the early morning, or supplementing with vitamin D3 if you live in a low sun area, can be the reviving medicine for your hair. If you like these shares, comment "great hair." And if the video was even a little helpful, please like this video. Your support lets me know we're on the right path. However, in the effort to regain youthful hair, I see many of my friends rushing to the pharmacy and buying every kind of vitamin possible. But be careful, because the line between miracle cure and poison is thinner than you think. Those sweet gummy vitamins in the medicine cabinet might actually be the culprit making your hair fall out more. Let me show you this trap right after this. Let's step inside and take a look at your medicine cabinet. How many vitamin bottles are standing there? I bet there are at least a few colorful gummy jars promising amazing hair, skin, and nails. I remember Dorothy, a 62-year-old friend living in Florida. In her anxiety over hair loss, she drove to CVS and bought three different supplements: a multivitamin for women over 50, a hair-specific one, and even fish oil with vitamin E because she heard it's good for skin. Dorothy thought simply, one pill is good, so two or three must be twice as good. Sadly, our bodies don't work by simple addition math. Did you know that this excessive enthusiasm can sometimes be the culprit? Studies have shown that taking too much selenium, vitamin A, and vitamin E can actually cause the opposite effect, in making hair fall out more instead of growing back. Selenium is an essential mineral, but the line between enough and toxic is very thin. When Dorothy accidentally overloaded selenium from multiple sources, her body reacted. Her hair started falling out in clumps just 2 months into the aggressive supplementation. Have you ever felt slightly nauseous, inexplicably tired, or even noticed your breath smelling faintly like garlic even though you didn't eat anything garlic related? That could be the body's silent warning that selenium stores are overloaded. And vitamin E, too, when taken in high doses, like 600 IU daily, it can affect thyroid hormone production, a factor we already know is extremely important for hair. My sincere advice to you right now is less is more. Sometimes less is more. Clear out the excess bottles and return to balance. We've been through a long journey together today, from worries about hormones, eating habits, to the subtle traps of supplements. Now, as the coffee in your hand has grown cold, I want to send you something more important than all that knowledge: patience. Do you still remember Linda, my neighbor friend in Chicago I mentioned at the beginning? After realizing the problem wasn't just in the shampoo bottle, she started making changes. She learned to let go of some worries to reduce cortisol. She added protein to breakfast instead of just toast, and she waited patiently. No miracles happened overnight, but about 6 months later, on a beautiful morning, Linda called me with an excited voice. She saw baby hairs starting to sprout along her part. Even though it wasn't as thick as in her 20s, the confident smile had returned to her face when she looked in the mirror. An old tree in the backyard can't grow tall after just one rain shower. Your hair is the same. It needs time, usually 3 to 6 months, to heal the internal damage and revive. So be gentle with yourself. Our beauty at this age isn't just in thick hair, but in health, wisdom, and the peace in our souls as we sit watching our grandchildren play in the yard. If you felt today's conversation was helpful, like a heart-to-heart between friends, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be back with many more interesting stories so we can live happier and healthier every day. I am Alan. Thank you for taking your precious time to listen and walk with me. Take good care of yourself because you deserve all the best things.